Have you ever wondered what true greatness really means? Society tells us it's about power, wealth, and recognition. But what if greatness is found on a quieter, less glamorous path? True greatness comes from serving others, not being served. As Matthew 20:26 says, "Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant." Let's explore how this timeless wisdom can transform our lives and our world. Every day, in offices everywhere, ambitious people like James and John compete for the top spot, a coveted leadership role. Their drive for recognition and status is a powerful force, shifting focus from teamwork to personal advancement. This race to the top is a timeless story seen in business, politics, sports, and even families. But in Matthew 20, Jesus challenges this ambition, offering a radically different vision of greatness. Jesus' response was startling. He didn't just say no. He introduced a new model of leadership, the opposite of what they expected. He said, "Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant." Jesus flipped the pyramid of power upside down. In his kingdom, greatness is measured by serving others. True leadership begins not with a crown but with a towel and a basin. Jesus and his disciples journeyed purposefully toward Jerusalem, the air thick with anticipation. He had just told them he would be betrayed, condemned, and crucified, yet rise again. The disciples, hoping for power and glory, struggled to grasp this message of sacrifice. Jesus' teaching on servant leadership was a direct challenge to their ambitions, a revolutionary call to humility on the road to destiny. Right after Jesus predicts his death, the mother of James and John approaches him with a bold request. She asks that her sons sit at his right and left in his kingdom, seeking honor and power. Jesus responds, "You don't know what you are asking. Can you drink the cup I'm going to drink?" They eagerly agree, not realizing the path to glory is through suffering and sacrifice. Jesus gently redirects them, teaching that true leadership means service, not status. The story doesn't end with James and John. The other 10 disciples overheard their request, and they were angry. Their anger wasn't noble, it was rooted in the same ambition. Each wanted the top spot. The request exposed hidden rivalry and jealousy within the group. They saw the kingdom as a ladder to climb, upset someone tried to get ahead. Jesus saw this and called them all together, ready to teach a crucial lesson. With his disciples gathered, Jesus redefines greatness. He says, "Not so with you." In his kingdom, the rules are different. The entire structure is inverted. Whoever wants to be great must be your servant. You achieve greatness by lifting others up, not by ruling over them. True greatness is found in serving. This is the servant's heart. In today's world, we've traded ancient thrones for modern ones, the corner office, the ultimate symbol of success and authority. It's seen as the pinnacle of achievement, where perks and power define greatness. But Jesus challenged this model, showing that true leadership means serving others, not being served. The real measure of greatness is how we empower and lift up those around us. Social media has become the new arena for measuring greatness, not by titles but by likes, followers, and views. The pursuit of online fame is seductive, making anyone with a smartphone feel like they could be a celebrity. But this world is built on image, where the appearance of greatness often replaces the real thing. True greatness is found not in being admired, but in using your influence to serve and uplift others. Power forces compliance through authority, but influence inspires willingness and trust. Power is about control, people follow because they have to. Influence is earned, rooted in character and relationships. Jesus chose influence over power, leading by serving others. True greatness comes not from commanding, but from lifting others up. At its core, the world's definition of greatness is, honestly, profoundly self-centered. It's a philosophy of me first. This mindset is, woven right into the very fabric of our modern culture. We're constantly encouraged to prioritize our own needs, our own desires, and our own advancement above all else. Advertisements tell us we deserve the best. Self-help books often focus on personal fulfillment and achieving our own dreams. The prevailing narrative is that our primary responsibility is to ourselves. This creates an echo chamber where our own voice, our own ambition, and our own comfort are, the loudest things we hear. Looking out for number one is seen not as selfish, but as smart and necessary for survival. But this me-first attitude is the exact opposite of the servant's heart that Jesus calls for. A servant's heart asks, "What do others need?" The world's mindset asks, "What do I want?" A servant's heart seeks to give. The world's mindset seeks to get. This fundamental difference in orientation is really what separates the two paths to greatness. The world's path is a ladder you climb by pushing yourself up, sometimes at the expense of others. Jesus' path is a towel you pick up to wash the feet of others, putting their needs before your own. It is a radical reorientation away from the self and toward the other. This self-centered approach to life and leadership creates, honestly, some significant problems. It leads to the kind of competition and jealousy we saw among the disciples. When everyone is focused on their own success, teamwork breaks down, trust erodes, people become guarded, unwilling to help a colleague for fear that it might help them get ahead. It creates a culture of rivalry instead of a community of support. In the end, this me-first greatness is lonely and unsatisfying. It leads to a life measured by what you have accumulated for yourself, rather than by the positive difference you have made in the lives of others. Breaking out of this echo chamber of self requires a conscious and deliberate choice. It means intentionally silencing the loud voice of our own ambition and learning to listen for the needs of those around us. It requires cultivating empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It means choosing to celebrate the success of others as genuinely as we celebrate our own. This is the difficult but rewarding work of developing a servant's heart. It is the first and most crucial step in redefining success and embarking on the path to the kind of greatness that truly matters and truly lasts. So what does it mean to answer this countercultural call in the 21st century? It means we must consciously reject the world's scoreboard and adopt a new one. It really requires a personal revolution in how we define success. Instead of measuring our lives by the size of our paycheck, the prestige of our title, or the number of our followers, we must start measuring our lives by our service. Success is no longer about how high you can climb, but about how many people you can lift. It's not about how much power you can acquire, but about how much you can empower others. This is a, fundamental shift in perspective. This new definition of success isn't just for CEOs or world leaders, it's for everyone. It's for the parent who chooses to patiently serve their children's needs over their own desire for rest. It's for the employee who takes the time to help a new colleague learn the ropes, even when it's not their job. It's for the neighbor who organizes a community cleanup, seeking no recognition for their effort. It's for the student who tutors a struggling classmate, instead of just focusing on their own grades. Greatness, by this new definition, is accessible to every single one of us, every single day, in the small, often unseen acts of service we perform. Living this way is not easy. It will always be countercultural. The world will continue to celebrate the powerful, the famous, and the wealthy. Choosing the path of service may mean you are overlooked for a promotion. It may mean your social media feed is less glamorous. It may mean you have less time and energy for your own hobbies. It requires swimming against a very strong current of self-interest. It demands courage, humility, and a deep sense of security that is not dependent on external validation. It is a choice we have to make over and over again. But the reward for this choice is a different kind of greatness. A greatness that is deeper, richer, and far more enduring. It is the greatness of a life well lived, a life that has made a genuine difference. It builds a legacy of love, trust, and positive impact that will outlast any corner office or viral video. This is the challenge and the invitation of Matthew chapter 20, verse 26 for us today. It calls us to be leaders, not by lording it over others in our homes, workplaces, or communities, but by having the strength and humility to put on the apron of a servant and ask the simple, powerful question, how can I help? Mother Teresa's greatness came not from power or wealth, but from her deep compassion and service to the poorest of the poor. She left comfort behind to serve the forgotten in Calcutta's slums, giving dignity and love to those in need. Her legacy lives on through the missionaries of charity, inspiring the world with small acts of great love. Abraham Lincoln led the nation through its darkest hour, the Civil War. Yet his greatness was not just in power, but in humility and empathy. He listened to ordinary people, carried their sorrows, and led with a compassionate heart. Lincoln visited wounded soldiers, offering comfort and kindness, serving those who suffered most. His legacy reminds us, true greatness is found in serving others. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a titan of the civil rights movement, remembered for his powerful voice and servant leadership. He believed greatness meant serving others, not seeking recognition. As he said, "He who is greatest among you shall be your servant." Dr. King's legacy reminds us, true leadership is found in service to others. Servant leadership isn't just for the famous, it's most powerful in everyday acts. Think of the teacher who stays late to help a struggling student, or the supervisor who quietly supports a team member in crisis. These people aren't seeking recognition, they're building trust and community through small, selfless choices. Volunteer coaches, helpful neighbors, and devoted parents, these are the unsung heroes shaping lives. Their service rarely makes headlines, but it's the foundation of true greatness. You don't need a title to lead, you just need a heart willing to help. The greatest impact often comes from the quiet daily choices to serve others. The military, known for its hierarchy, actually thrives on servant leadership. In the best units, leaders eat last, junior soldiers are served first, and the highest-ranking officer waits. This isn't just tradition, it's a visible commitment to putting others first. Great military leaders ensure their troops have what they need, share hardships, and take responsibility for failures. This builds trust and loyalty. Soldiers follow out of respect, not fear. The lesson applies everywhere. True leadership means caring for those you lead. Authority is earned through service, not demanded. To lead well, be willing to serve, even if it means you're the last to eat. The ultimate model of servant leadership is Jesus Christ. He lived humbly, serving the marginalized and using his power to help, not dominate. At the Last Supper, he washed his disciples' feet, a task for the lowest servant, showing that no act of service is beneath a true leader. Jesus taught that greatness comes from humility and service, not status. His life and death were the ultimate acts of selfless leadership. He said, "The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." True greatness is found in serving others. All servant leadership echoes his example. Servant leadership starts with listening. In a noisy world, truly hearing others is rare and powerful. It's not about waiting to speak, but giving full attention, listening to words and emotions. A servant leader draws out every voice, especially the quiet ones, building trust and respect. Make it your goal to listen more than you speak. You'll discover needs, build stronger relationships, and become a better leader. Before you serve, have the humility to listen. Listening is the first act of service.
Know you've been a good friend, and that's through the thick and thin. And I know it's never
After listening, servant leadership requires humility, thinking of yourself less, not less of yourself. Humble leaders don't need recognition, they focus on lifting others up. Putting others first means prioritizing your team's needs over your own comfort or agenda. It's the manager who gives credit, the parent who sacrifices time, the leader who works behind the scenes. This mindset challenges the me-first culture and sees leadership as a responsibility, not a right. Practice humility by celebrating others, doing unglamorous tasks, and admitting mistakes. These small acts shape character and inspire trust. Humility creates a culture where everyone feels valued. Servant leaders aim to empower, not control. Their success is measured by the growth of those they serve. They delegate real responsibility, trust their team, and see mistakes as learning opportunities. This builds resilient, innovative teams. The ultimate goal? To make themselves unnecessary, raising up new leaders who can thrive on their own. Ask yourself, are your people growing and taking on more? If so, you're leading well. True leadership is about developing leaders, not followers. To serve someone well, you must be able to understand their world from their point of view. This ability is called empathy, and it's a non-negotiable character trait for any servant leader. Empathy is more than just sympathy, which is feeling sorry for someone. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to feel what they are feeling, and to see a situation through their eyes. It's the emotional engine that drives compassionate action. Without empathy, our attempts to serve can feel hollow, disconnected, or even condescending. With empathy, our service becomes genuine, personal, and truly helpful. Leading with empathy requires us to slow down and pay attention to the human beings we are leading. It means recognizing that our team members are not just employees or units of production, they're whole people with lives, families, struggles, and dreams outside of the office. An empathetic leader takes an interest in their people as individuals. They remember the name of a spouse or a child. They notice when someone seems down or stressed and take the time to check in with them. They understand that life happens, and they respond with grace and flexibility when an employee needs support. Empathy has a profound impact on the workplace environment. When leaders demonstrate genuine empathy, it creates a culture of psychological safety. People feel safe to be vulnerable, to admit when they are struggling, or to share a personal difficulty without fear of negative consequences. This, in turn, builds incredible loyalty and commitment. When people know that their leader genuinely cares about them as a person, they're willing to go the extra mile. They're more engaged, more collaborative, and more dedicated to the team's mission. Empathy isn't a soft skill. It's a strategic leadership tool that builds strong, resilient teams. So how can we grow in empathy? It starts with being curious about other people. Ask questions and listen to the answers. Make an effort to learn about the experiences and backgrounds of those on your team, especially those who are different from you. Read books and watch movies that expose you to different perspectives. Most importantly, when you are faced with a conflict or a problem, consciously pause and ask yourself, what might this situation look like from their perspective? By practicing this simple question, you can begin to build the empathetic muscle that is so essential for serving and leading well. Finally, it's crucial to understand that servant leadership is not a passive or easy path. It's a daily, deliberate choice that honestly requires immense courage. It takes courage to go against the grain of a me-first world. It takes courage to put the needs of others ahead of your own ambition, especially when you might be overlooked for a promotion or recognition. It takes courage to be humble, to admit when you are wrong, and to take responsibility for failure. It takes courage to listen when you would rather be talking, to empower when you would rather be controlling, and to show empathy when you are feeling stressed and pressured yourself. The way of the servant is not the way of the weak, it is the way of the strong. It requires a deep sense of security that is not tied to external validation. A servant leader's identity is rooted in something deeper than their job title or the opinion of others. This inner security gives them the strength to absorb criticism, to advocate for their people even when it's unpopular, and to make difficult decisions that are based on principles, not politics. This is the kind of courage that inspires trust and creates followers who would walk through fire for their leader, not because they have to, but because they want to. This path of service is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be days when you are tired, when your patience is thin, and when the old habits of self-interest try to creep back in. On these days, you will have to make a conscious choice to serve anyway. It's in these difficult moments that the character of a servant leader is truly forged. It's about choosing to be patient with a struggling team member at the end of a long day. It's about choosing to listen to your child's story even when you have 100 other things on your mind. It's a series of small, courageous choices made over and over again. This is the practical, rubber meets the road reality of living out the words of Matthew chapter 20, verse 26. It's not a one-time decision, but a continuous commitment. It is a journey of learning to listen, cultivating humility, empowering others, and leading with empathy. And it is a journey that requires daily courage. But honestly, it's a journey that leads to the only kind of greatness that truly lasts. A greatness measured not by what you have gained for yourself, but by the positive, lasting impact you have had on the lives of the people you were called to serve. There are two paths to greatness. One, wide and celebrated, focused on power and self. The other, narrow and quiet, defined by serving others. True influence comes from humility and selfless action, not status. Each day we choose which path to walk, and the legacy we leave behind. What is the ultimate outcome of choosing the servant's path? What is the legacy that this kind of life creates? The greatness achieved by lording it over others is often fleeting. It lasts only as long as the position is held, the title is respected, or the power is maintained. When that position is gone, the influence often evaporates with it. The legacy of a power-based leader is often one of buildings, balance sheets, or monuments, things that are impressive but cold. It is a legacy that can be measured, but it is rarely a legacy that is loved. It can command compliance, but it seldom earns true, heartfelt loyalty. The legacy of a servant leader, however, is something entirely different. It's a living legacy, one that is written not on stone, but on the hearts and lives of people. The servant leader's impact is seen in the growth of the people they mentored, in the confidence of the team they empowered, and in the well-being of the community they served. Their legacy is a ripple effect of positive change that continues long after they are gone. It's the employee who becomes a great leader themselves because they were shown how. It's the child who grows up to be a loving parent because they were served with patience and grace. This is the kind of legacy that truly endures. Think of the everyday heroes we discussed, the teacher, the supervisor, the volunteer coach. Their names may not be recorded in history books, but their influence is woven into the fabric of the lives they touched. Their greatness is not found in a list of accomplishments, but in a chorus of grateful voices saying, "They believed in me, they helped me, or they were there for me when I needed it." This is a legacy of trust, love, and positive transformation. It's a wealth that cannot be counted in dollars but is priceless in its value. This is the ultimate promise of Matthew chapter 20 verse 26. By choosing to be a servant, you are not choosing to be less. You are choosing a different, more profound kind of greatness. You are choosing to build a legacy that matters. You are choosing to invest your life in the one thing that has eternal value: people. The world may not give you an award for this. You may not get the corner office or the viral fame, but you will earn something far more valuable: the trust and respect of those you lead, and the deep, abiding satisfaction of knowing you have made a genuine, positive difference in the world. We have explored the context, contrasted the concepts, heard the stories, and discussed the practical steps. Now this message moves from the pages of this essay and lands directly at your feet. The words of Jesus, "Whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant," are not just a historical quote or a nice idea for others to consider. They are a personal invitation to you right here today. It is a call to action, a challenge to redefine what success and leadership mean in your own life. It's an invitation to embark on the most rewarding journey you will ever take. This journey does not require you to change your job, move to a new city, or wait for a formal leadership position. It begins right where you are, with the very next person you interact with. It starts with a simple choice. You can choose to truly listen to your colleague instead of interrupting them. You can choose to put your phone down and give your full attention to your child. You can choose to thank the cashier at the grocery store and ask how their day is going. You can choose to let someone else take the credit for a job well done. Greatness begins in these small, intentional acts of service. I want to challenge you to take one concrete step this week. Identify one area in your life, at home, at work, or in your community, where you can intentionally practice servant leadership. Maybe it's deciding to actively listen in every meeting for a week. Maybe it's finding one person on your team to encourage and build up. Maybe it's volunteering for a task that no one else wants. Choose one small, achievable action and commit to it. Do not worry about changing the world overnight. Focus on serving the one person in front of you. That is how the journey begins. The path of servant leadership is the path to a life of significance. It is the key to unlocking your greatest potential, not for your own glory, but for the good of others. It is the most effective way to lead, the most powerful way to influence, and the most fulfilling way to live. Jesus did not just suggest this path, he walked it himself, leaving us the ultimate example to follow. The invitation is open, the path is clear. Will you accept the challenge? Will you choose to be great by becoming a servant? Your journey starts now.